In this second drag and drop video, we're going to go a little bit more closely inside some of the pages and show you ways of changing things that in the past you would have had to file a support ticket on, and we would have to do it from Morris Technologies end. This could be something as simple as being on a article page. Let's say we set this up for you in the byline where it's showing not only the name, the title, an email address, and a phone number, as well as a mugshot. You may want to have a particular reporter or editor not have all those assets shown on a particular article. You may also choose to change it based on the section. Let's say all opinion page stories will have the editor or reporter's picture, but you don't want that on any other type of hard news, particularly if it's just something like it could be a murder or a plane crash or something really bad like that, where you think it might be best not to have the mugshot of the reporter, particularly if he's smiling. So in this particular part of the training, we'll show you how to change that. As you can see, we're back on I am currently logged in, and all I have to do is click on Start Drag and Drop. So whenever I go to a different page, I will have to start drag and drop all over again. And of course, that brings down the area on the top with the little icons. In this case, we're not going to use that because we're just going to deal with existing little widgets there. Now, what tends to happen, depending on your screen resolution, which for this training, my screen resolution is set fairly low, and also depending on the browser, you may have, while in drag and drops, you may see a different presentation here. And don't worry about that if you happen to see some blank spaces or if you happen to see the photo not showing up. This is totally normal. So in this case, we're going to go over to where the byline is. I'm going to click on that. And once again, it opens up. You can see that that is all part of a widget there. And I'm going to click on Settings. And this one is really easy. It has a number of settings here. For instance, by default, we have the name of the reporter or the editor starts off with by, like in my case, be by Mark Swendra. But if your style is such where you don't want it to say by, or if you want it to be reported by or whatever, or if you just want it to be left blank and just go in straight to the name, you would just remove that, the word by there. Secondly, you have a number of items here, and as you can see, the reason, the phone number, the email address, their title, and their picture, as well as a link to their email where it'll open up automatically in their email client. All those are checked. But if you don't want the picture to be shown, you go ahead right here under Show Author's Image and just uncheck it. And you can do the same with the rest of the area there as well. When you're done, click on Save. Now, once you're done with that, saving, of course, is only one part of it. You need to save the page. So let's actually go in here, and I'm going to click on Save Page. Now, as I mentioned before, if you do want to save it as a draft, if you feel a little uncomfortable, at least to start, where you're really practicing, you're not sure if you're doing this exactly the way it's supposed to be, I would go ahead and click on Save as Draft. However, since it is a small little item here where you could quickly, within just minutes, go back and fix what you might have done wrong, then if you feel pretty comfortable, go ahead and click on Save and Apply. Now I'm going to click on Save and Apply because I want to show you what happens once I click this. So I'm clicking Save and Apply, and right here it says Choose Save Path. Now this is going to be what you're going to see every time you click Save and Apply. If you're on the home page, for instance, you will see only one option, which is, it'll just be, instead of three options here, it'll be one option, and it'll give the URL of the home page. Since you're saving something on the home page, that's the only place you could save it. But because we're on an article page here, It gives you the ability to do really 3 different things. Let's start at the bottom first of all. The current URL, this is a particular article that if you want to save this particular setting to just this article, you would click on this bottom one here. And what that's going to do is, when the public views this particular article, they will see the byline without the picture. That does not affect any of the other stories throughout the website. So this is one of those situations where you want to go kind of a story by story. If you have a particular story that, is, like I said, is crime related or something really, really negative where you don't want that picture, then you would select that one. The next one right here is all articles in this section. Now this is a local news section, so if you want it to apply, every article within the local news section not having that picture, you would do that. Finally, at the top, it would be all articles on the site. So every particular byline for this particular reporter or editor, you would now have the photo not showing up. So those are your options, and then after you're done, you would click OK, and at that point the change would be made. But it is nice that you can go in on any type of article or any type of change you make. You can apply it only to that particular page or to a section or to the entire website. And now to another thing that you can control on your end that in the past you would have to file a support ticket for. Right here where it says submit a comment, from time to time the newspaper might look at the wording on here and say, we want to change the wording, or we don't like where it says submit a comment, we want to say something else. So you just click on it, and that tells you right there that it is drag and droppable. And if I had clicked on it, nothing had happened. That meant you don't control it. So in this point, let's go ahead and click on settings, and let's see what we can do. And it does give you the ability to, where it says submit a comment, and also log in to post a comment. You can go ahead right there and change the wording if you want. Now this area right here, which is the disclaimer, this is where you can go in, and since it's very small print here, hopefully you can see that in this training video, but it essentially, it is in HTML. So since you are familiar with HTML, you just make sure that if you do have to change something, if you need to change a word where it says right here encourages readers to interact, you can go in there and just type over that, but be sure not to type over or accidentally delete any of the HTML coding, which are some anchor tags, URLs, anything else like that. So you are capable of making some changes, but make sure you do understand how HTML works. And when you're done, you would go ahead and click on Save. It would make the changes on the page, and of course, to finalize things, click on Save Page or Save as a Draft, and have it applied throughout the entire website if you choose. Our next level of training pertains to the Contact Us page or the Staff Directory page. This is an area where you will have already set up users and put them in the system, and at this point we will either have created this page for you and put everything ready to go, and the only time you really need to make changes on this page is if for some reason your address of your newspaper changes, a phone number, anything like that, and also of course if you get new employees come or go. So I am in drag and drop already to save a little time here, and I clicked on this first part. Now this is going to vary. The design of this page is going to vary based on your design that you gave to us, but let's say you happen to have here a information. It says here contact the Effingham Herald, and it has this phone number and address, whatever. As you can see, as I clicked on it, it showed me the settings, so I can do something with it. Now as I open this up, this is going to show that HTML code. So this is going to be very similar to the privacy policy and also the information you saw in the commenting area, where you can go in right here, you can make changes, If you need to change an address, for instance, like right here, you would just cover that and then type in the new address, but make sure that you don't accidentally delete any of the code that is with that. Okay, so as we scroll down, once again, anything that right there, that is something that it says want to give us feedback. If you click on the settings there, you can control some of the wording on there. So finally, we come down to the area on your page that shows pictures and titles and basic contact information. So you can go in at any time. For instance, if you don't like the right here under editors and reporters, I could click on that, click on settings, and as you can see, there's editors and reporters. If you wanted to change the wording there to newsroom staff or just editors, if you wanted to create a section that's different, you have editors at the top and then reporters at the bottom, you can do that. And as you can see here, then you have each particular reporter or editor. Let's start on this side here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to click there. I'm going to click on settings. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to swap out this particular publisher for a different employee. We're kind of moving around things on the page. So if you have something to where you're not really adding a new employee, where you need to create an additional column for the new employee, this is just you're swapping out somebody for another. The easiest way to do it, and I'll show you how this is done, very simple. Click on settings, and it's just going to show you at the top there. Currently, it's K Tanksley is the username that was chosen, and when you select K Tanksley, it had all that information in the user profile, username and profile. But in this case, we would go in, and if we want to change it to somebody else, let's go in and choose this particular. Let's choose J Clayton. Go ahead and click Save. And actually what ended up happening here is we didn't have any information from Jeff in the system, so it really does make more sense to choose somebody who's already in the system there, that the title and mugshot has been uploaded to the system. As you can see, we don't have that. But typically, if you would go back, and we'll go back to Karen right here and click on save, and it will return her to that particular location. But typically just go in, change the user to the new user, make sure that profile has been created, a mugshot, everything is in the system. Now if you need to add a new reporter, in this case we have plenty of space right here. The easiest way to do is to take this entire widget right here. Now I'm going to click on settings, and you may have noticed this before when we were opening up the settings area, but we have a copy and we have a clone. If you clone something, it is exactly what it sounds like. It will make that same exact, it'll show me another P. Donahue, and it will show it off to the side, and then I can kind of bring it onto the page. And I think that's the best way to do it right now. So watch what happens when I click on clone. And actually it kind of showed it off to that side, but I can go right here, and I can add it to that particular area right under this one here. And I can size it. If it wasn't the right size, I can make it bigger or smaller. As you can see, by making it a little bit bigger, it showed the entire photo and that information. Now obviously we don't want two of the same editor listings here, so this is where we would go in right here under settings, and this is where we can choose somebody else. And I'm going to choose somebody who I know is in the system there. I'm going to click on save, and there you go. Actually this was Karen Stevens, who was off to the left here. So now you have a new employee, and also if you want to add additional employees, you just keep following that procedure until you have everybody you need. But that's essentially it. Be sure to save your work when you're done, and that's how you manage the staff directory page. And this concludes the second video of the drag and drop. And now please proceed to our quiz.